The moment I heard the metallic screech echo through the quiet neighborhood, my stomach dropped. Because I knew that sound wasn't accidental, it was deliberate. I was standing in my kitchen, coffee still steaming, when my phone buzzed with a Tesla alert. At first I ignored it, then another buzz, and another. When I finally opened the app, my heart started pounding. Live dashcam footage showed a woman standing beside my car, keys clenched in her fist, dragging them slowly across the paint, like she was signing her name on my future. That woman was Karen, the HOA, queen who had been harassing me for months. And in that moment, she had no idea she had just ruined her own life. This didn't start with the scratch. It started weeks earlier with a tweet. I had reposted an Elon Musk comment about free speech. Nothing extreme, nothing aggressive. Somehow that single tweet found its way into our HOA Facebook group. Suddenly I was that guy, the electric car owner, the troublemaker. Karen, the self-appointed enforcer of neighborhood morality, made it her personal mission to teach me a lesson. She complained about my Tesla charger, my parking angle, even the way my car looked political. Every notice came with her name attached, bold and proud. I tried ignoring her. I followed every HOA rule to the letter, but Karen didn't want compliance. She wanted control. One morning, I found a warning sticker, slapped on my windshield accusing me of unauthorized vehicle behavior. That was the first time I realized this wasn't about rules anymore. It was personal. The day she keyed my Tesla, Karen thought she was invisible. She glanced around, adjusted her sunglasses, and went to work on my car like it owed her money. What she didn't know, what she couldn't know, was that my Tesla's dashcam had already captured everything. Her face, her rage, even the moment she smiled afterward, satisfied. When I stepped outside and saw the damage in person, I didn't scream. I didn't panic. I smiled. Because the war Karen thought she started in the driveway was actually going to end in a courtroom, and I had all the evidence. I didn't confront Karen that day. That was my first advantage. Instead of knocking on her door or firing off an angry message in the HOA group, I went inside, uploaded the footage, and watched it again, slowly. Every second felt surreal. The camera caught her face clearly, the scratch clearly, and most importantly, her intent clearly. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was vandalism, plain and simple. The next morning, I filed a police report. When the officer arrived, he listened quietly as I explained the situation. He examined the damage, nodded, then asked a question Karen would soon regret. "Does the vehicle have surveillance?" I opened the laptop. The moment the video started playing, his expression changed. By the time Karen's face filled the screen, there was no doubt left in the room. He exhaled slowly and said, "Yeah, we're going to talk to her." Word spread fast. HOA gossip always does. Within hours, neighbors who had avoided me for months suddenly became curious. A few quietly admitted Karen had been targeting others too. Letters, fines, threats. One family told me she once measured their grass with a ruler. Another said she reported their kids for excessive chalk art. Suddenly, my scratched Tesla wasn't just my problem anymore. It was proof. Karen didn't apologize. She doubled down. In the HOA Facebook group, she posted that my car was provocative and that I was bringing political aggression into a family community. She claimed the scratch was already there and accused me of staging the footage. That was her second mistake. The dashcam timestamp, GPS location, and angle matched perfectly. Even the clouds lined up. When she was officially served with the complaint, she lost it. She sent me 3 emails in one night, each angrier than the last. She threatened countersuits, HOA fines, and community consequences. I didn't reply. Everything she sent went straight to my lawyer, who responded with one sentence: "All further communication should be directed through legal counsel." The court date was set faster than I expected. Vandalism, property damage, harassment. Karen still believed her HOA title made her untouchable. She walked into that courtroom confident, carrying a binder full of printed Facebook posts and HOA bylaws. I walked in with one USB drive. As we took our seats, she glanced at me and smirked. Like this was just another meeting she planned to dominate. What she didn't understand was that meetings have opinions, but courtrooms have evidence. And evidence was about to destroy her. The courtroom felt colder than I expected. Not because of the air conditioning, but because of the tension hanging in the air. Karen sat stiffly at her table, whispering to her attorney, confidence still plastered on her face. She believed this was just another HOA dispute she could talk her way out of. I sat quietly, hands folded, saying nothing. I didn't need to. The truth was already loaded and waiting. When the judge entered, Karen straightened up like she was about to give a presentation. Her lawyer went first. Arguing that there was no conclusive proof Karen caused the damage. He suggested neighborhood teenagers, random vandals, even claimed the scratch could have happened at a grocery store. Karen nodded dramatically at every word, shaking her head whenever my name was mentioned. She looked offended like she was the victim. Then it was our turn. My lawyer stood calm and precise and asked the judge for permission to present video evidence. Karen's attorney objected immediately, claiming the footage was edited and invasive. The judge raised a hand, unimpressed, and allowed it. The screen turned on. The courtroom went dark. And then there she was. Karen's face filled the screen in high definition. The Tesla sat motionless. The timestamp appeared. The audio picked up the faint scrape of metal on paint. Gasps rippled through the room. Someone behind us whispered, "Oh wow." The judge leaned forward. Karen's smile vanished. The video didn't rush. It showed her checking over her shoulder. It showed her lifting her keys. It showed the slow, intentional drag along the door panel. When the footage zoomed slightly, capturing her smirk, Karen's attorney lowered his head. There was no explanation for that. But the final blow came next. My lawyer played the second clip, Karen walking away, pulling out her phone and typing a message. The timestamp matched a post she had made in the HOA group minutes later, complaining about rule breakers who need consequences. The judge paused the video and looked directly at Karen. "Is that you?" he asked. Karen tried to speak, but no words came out. Her lawyer attempted to intervene, but it was too late. The judge had seen everything. He asked for the repair estimate. My lawyer handed it over. Then he added the prior complaints, the emails, the harassment timeline. The pattern was undeniable. What Karen thought was a single scratch had turned into a documented campaign of abuse. The judge sighed, rubbed his temples, and said words Karen would never forget. "This court does not reward abuse of power." In that moment, the HOA queen finally realized she wasn't in control anymore. The ruling came swiftly, and it landed like a gavel to the ego. The judge found Karen liable for vandalism, harassment, and misuse of authority. He ordered her to pay full repair costs, legal fees, and a civil penalty that made her attorney visibly flinch. Then came the part no one expected. The judge referred the HOA's conduct to mediation and warned that selective enforcement could trigger further action. Karen stared straight ahead, frozen, as if refusing to blink might rewind the last hour. Outside the courthouse, the air felt lighter. Neighbors who had once avoided eye contact stopped to speak, some apologizing, others thanking me for standing up. One woman whispered that Karen had fined her for leaving a stroller on the porch. A man admitted he'd paid penalties he never deserved. The story had traveled faster than any HOA notice ever could. Accountability had a way of doing that. Within days, the HOA board called an emergency meeting. Karen resigned before the vote. Her posts disappeared. The warning letters stopped. A new policy was drafted, one that required evidence, transparency, and an appeals process. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. Real progress earned the hard way. My Tesla came back from the shop flawless, paint gleaming like the day I bought it. But the repair wasn't the victory. The victory was the silence. No notes, no threats. No knock on the door disguised as concern. Just a neighborhood finally allowed to breathe. Karen kept a low profile after that. Court does that to people who confuse power with permission. I never celebrated her fall, and I never needed revenge. Justice had handled it efficiently, calmly, and publicly. The Dashcam didn't just protect my car. It protected the truth. If there's a lesson here, it isn't about electric cars, politics, or social media. It's about documentation. It's about patience. And it's about knowing that bullies rely on secrecy, not strength. When the evidence comes out, their confidence collapses under its own weight. Months later, the neighborhood felt different in subtle ways. Shared smiles, open curtains, fewer whispers. Rules were posted clearly, meetings recorded, and complaints required proof. Trust returned slowly, like sunlight after a storm, reminding everyone that communities thrive not on fear, but fairness, respect, and the courage to stand firm together when evidence meets accountability finally. I still park my Tesla in the same spot. I still wave to my neighbors. And every time I hear the soft click of the Dashcam activating, I'm reminded that fairness doesn't need to shout. It just needs to be recorded. Because sometimes, the smallest camera captures the biggest consequences. Did you enjoy watching Karen get exposed? Don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe for more wild HOA stories, and drop a comment below telling us what you would do if someone keyed your car.